Here's one for you, then, boys. Before we kick off, GYG or Zambrero?
Well, I do go first, because I have a little ponder on my answer.
Appreciate that, thank you, bud. Age before beauty. I reckon I'm a Zambrero. I know it's quite controversial, but I feel like the better portion size, and lately in GYG, it's been quite sloppy in terms of actual sloppiness. It falls apart. So for the listeners that don't know,
what are you having now?
They're Mexican. It's a Mexican fast food chain.
What are you having now?
Well, I was having a what's that, like folded wrap and they toast it, quesadilla.
That's where you're going wrong, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Have a burrito, bud.
Burrito.
Get a burrito and do.
But then it's all rice then, and you're just paying for expensive rice.
Well, it's better than a sloppy quesadilla, isn't it?
Well, that's where you got a Zambrero.
Oh, I see now.
What do you reckon, Sauce Boy?
Now, Zambrero, you get a better portion size. The meat is dreadful. The meat is like,
sloppy.
I wouldn't feed it to my dog. It's sloppy meat.
I'd refer to that as sloppy, see.
Yeah, it's a sloppy bit of meat, like.
What, Zambrero?
Yeah. It's not quite solid meat that maybe some people would want. And it's hard to say that without a smile on your face. But, yeah, go on, just before we go off on a innuendo tangent, but GYG for me.
Yeah, 100%. All day. GYG, it's different gravy, but the meat, for fast food, is the best. The meat is class. I think you prefer the sauce because you don't have to put a load of salad in there as well, don't you?
It does help.
Do you have jalapenos or not?
I'll occasionally have jalapenos, if it's depending on a good day, like.
Anyway, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, you been in?
Well, what's it been? About 3 weeks. So I'm a bit out. A couple of cobwebs would have probably creeped in. Hopefully I don't blow anybody's ears off like the first episode, which still gets referred to, even as recently as the last episode. I think, Sauce's microphone holding abilities on the first episode has not quite been forgotten just yet.
People don't forget.
No, they don't. But no, it's good to be back. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And no, I've been looking forward to getting back into it. You boys did a fantastic job, obviously running the show for the last 2 episodes. Big Aunt Tash, I thought she was a great contribution as well on the last episode. So no, I thoroughly enjoyed them both, but good to be back with you.
Have you got anything to say? And obviously, a few shots were fired.
You've got plenty of things to say, haven't you?
Well, I did make a few notes, boys.
Yeah,
because to tell you the truth, yeah, I was irked. I think that's the word I would use. I was irked by some of what was being said. I wasn't quite slaving away, but I wasn't far off slaving away in 40-degree heat, listening to my good name getting dragged. We weren't dragged to the mud, that's an exaggeration.
Good name.
Oh, well, I just wasn't here to defend myself, was I? And it was like I had a bit of built-up tension here because I couldn't quite get my point across to the audience. And let's be fair, if they've listened to it already, they're not going to give 2 shits about what I got to say now. But still, you're having a bit back. So
come on, Anne.
We'll start off with a little bit of hyperbole and hypocrisy, mainly from you.
Fuck me, but where are you pulling these words from?
I've had
ChatGPT.
He does a journal now, don't he? So he needs these big words.
I was journaling earlier, and I've had 3 weeks to think about it. So I've been going back to my notes every day, fucking putting in some smart words in just to fucking give the right impression of me, which is not currently coming across. So
let's go.
Right. Hyperbole, hypocrisy on the shoes. So what was said, I think Jimmy mentioned something along the lines of, Sauce leaves a trail of shoes everywhere.
Correct.
On occasion, Sauce will leave, I was referring to myself in the third person, but I will occasionally leave some shoes, I wouldn't say scattered, I would say, there's a pair of shoes where maybe they don't need to be a pair of shoes, but that's only because I know I'm going to be going back out of the house in 5 minutes' time. I don't expect it to cause any problems.
You might need a bit of extra traction while you're eating your dinner at the dinner table, is it? It is slippy, that rug in the gym.
Oh, it is slippy. And in addition to that, your shoes, but you haven't got the smallest feet. What are you, size 12 maybe? 11, 12?
11 and a half, 12.
It's like bloody total wipeout trying to get through the assault course when I get home. Like,
alright, well, you're stealing my thunder there, because I was going to say something a bit similar. So what I was going to say is when we had Lowry and Jamie staying for your wedding week,
yes.
Everybody seems to forget the build up. I thought we had fucking Brantano spare stock fucking in front of the front room. And to get to the front room, so I'll give the viewers a bit of an idea of our downstairs setup. We've got a kitchen, little hallway stroke porch, which leads into the front room. And for about 3 days, I mean, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, this pile of shoes. You had to turn into Greg Rutherford.
Greg Rutherford.
That's fucking hard to say. I should have picked another long jumper, never mind. But yeah, you had to turn... I look like a twat now, it sounded funny in my head. But yeah, you had to turn into a fucking Olympic standard jumper to get into the fucking front room. So I just feel as if it was a bit of hypocrisy, because I feel as if everybody's guilty of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
to be fair, they haven't got a shoe cupboard.
I was going to say, where do the guests put their shoes, bud?
Well, surely, you know, I'm not
Surely?
if you pardon
You sure now?
Oh, you win some, you shoe some.
No,
but
you win some, you shoe some. But no, look, hey, Lowry and Jamie were great guests to have, so I'll forgive them for the, the shoes. But
beggars can't be choosers.
beggars can't be shoesers. Shoesers. All right, so I'll kick on from that then, because obviously Jimmy's on a time frame because he's got to get up for work in the morning. So,
Oh, he's the only one with the jobs, eh? Fucking hell.
The kicks off at normal hours, aye.
Fair play, yeah. I'm the only PT on earth that doesn't start work at 5 a.m, I think. I'm starting at 12:30 tomorrow.
oh, happy fucking days
The
again.
dream.
Yeah, it sound.
So, and then what else was said? So what's next on my list of slander? Leaving stuff on the table downstairs. Now, Jim, again, I gotta be honest about it, a lot of it's like, I think I gotta come back to you soon, don't worry, you're not getting away scot-free. But just starting off with you, quips, Jim, I'll say. Just leave my stuff here. I'm not being funny. We had that fucking table delivered from Dumbledore. It's like something out of the Hogwarts canteen. It's fucking 6 metres by 7, 42 square metre table. My AirPods case are like a gnat's cock. They done hurt on the table. I was going to do some maths earlier. I was going to what sort of square percentage of the table did my stuff take up? And you're looking like 0.04. It cannot cause you.
You can't be leaving your AirPods on the fucking dinner table, though.
I don't listen to AirPods in my room, do I? So when I want them downstairs, pick them up when I go for my walk in the morning. Bang, Bob's your uncle.
What's the difference of grabbing them from your room?
I forget, but I've already come down the stairs. I don't want to go back up, do I?
But it's not just the if it was just the AirPods,
All right,
I'll lay you off.
Well, the pair of sunnies as well, and the gym card the size of a credit card.
The kit bag now and then.
Yeah, shoes under the table.
The post you have, your influencer's bloody dream, so you've got post coming every day, and that stays
AG1.
there.
Well, I'm here for 2 weeks at a time. I can't do fuck all about that.
Which is why I don't mind because it balances out.
No, and what
Yeah.
happens, you know what, so I'll just tell the viewers, so when I get post delivered, it's good job it's not fucking fragile, because they just fucking sling the cunt in, pardon my language, they just sling the cunt in the bedroom. It's fucking cracked everywhere.
Fragile.
My mother
I'll
said,
take it up for him.
my mother sent me a WhatsApp message the other day saying, oh, fucking, I sent you some China over. I was like, oh, there's no fucking point, love. It'd be a jigsaw puzzle by the time I open a fucking box.
We were doing keepy uppies with that downstairs, weren't we?
But that's leaving the stuff on the table. And do you know what? I think Reese mentioned on one of the episodes, he says, Saus come down kicking off about you moving my stuff the other day. And do you know what it was comparable to? In between us when Neil kept burning Will's stuff, and he just like, stop burning my things. That's what I come down with. I come downstairs and I must have forgot that you'd put everything upstairs, so I'd come downstairs ready to not return upstairs. I come down, I gotta go back up them fucking stairs because he's moved all my shit again.
I put it on the
You're going to say you
stairs,
set them on fire then?
Oh well, if he
They were on the stove cooking.
I
Like,
didn't even say fucking good morning to him. I just fucking kicked off. I said I'm gonna buy my own fruit bowl and I'm gonna buy my stuff in the fruit bowl.
I don't put it back upstairs. I put it on the stairs.
It's the passive aggressive placement of it all as well. Like, I don't know. It's too late to get pissed off. Right, well, actually, we'll choose out the way. We'll come back because there's one as a collective couple for you and Tash. I need to quickly.
Oh, I look
back
forward to
to.
this one.
Right, back to you. Underselling the noise you make in the morning was one for me. I think we made out, and it was just like, oh yeah, I might slam the odd door, and Sauce has said it's like the door slamming championships in you. No, Sauce has said a bit more than that. Now, Tash also mentioned me and him being like a take that tribute act. Listening to that fucker in the morning is more comparable to a Slipknot tribute act. It's like even things like he'll cut his banana in the morning, and look at him, he's built.
family used to say that.
He's built like a brick shit house. You can feel him dropping the box on a knife just to cut into the counter, and it's like
I got to cut it into 806 pieces as well, and all happy.
And this is a fucking big house, but that Ken shakes the foundations like a shitting dog. It's fucking madness. Like, just wanted to bring up, that you've undersold how much noise you make in the morning, and hey, it is what it is, but lived with you for 2 years. It's inconsiderate.
Guilty as charged.
I think
I think you are just as bad when you're recording your voice notes and your FaceTimes.
Which is once a blue moon, but alright, fair enough. I mean, you do play, fucking an AC/DC fucking encore every morning, like, but, hey, I'll forgive it. This one wasn't, I don't know why this is on notes, but this was just more a general comment. I thought you two had some fantastic innuendo over the last 2 episodes.
Thank you,
that I was a bit gutted to miss out on, because
You're
it was
welcome.
probably for the best, because I'd really shot myself in the foot. But one that stuck out to me, and I did laugh out loud on the plane on the way home earlier, was, you blow substantially. And I'll just leave that there.
Yeah. Touche.
And I've had some grief, back to you now, Jim. I've had some grief on this podcast for my condiment consumption. More importantly, ketchup.
What's that? Sorry, condom consumption.
Well,
Come on now.
what I take, por favor, man. I was having some grief for my condiment consumption, wasn't I? And I come home today. I haven't seen Jimmy for the best part of 2.5 weeks now. Didn't get to see him for much on Friday. Hi, Jim, how are you? How was your weekend? But how's your injuries going? How's training? What do you and the missus get up to on the weekend? Whatever. First thing he said to me, it's my fucking tomato sauce in the fridge. You're not having fucking none of it. So, do you know what he done? He went downstairs and he ripped a bit of the label. So, do you know what I did? I ripped the label off mine so the cunt knows. First thing I did. I was that bitter with it. I made sure, and it's exact fucking replica right there. I knew even had some condensation in your bottle, and I shook the fuck out to get rid of it. But I digress. I didn't expect this to
I bet there's a nice gouge out my fucking biscuit off as well.
Well, it's going to lead me on to something a bit later, but I'll just finish off on Jimmy's condiment consumption. I feel as if I've got to put my 10 pence in to you bringing your own mayonnaise to Nando's. That is far and away worse than anything I do with condiments.
Wildest tism ever, innit?
I'm sure you had some. Didn't you have some? When I took it to Nana's when we went
I
down
don't
one
touch
time.
white sauce, mate.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's like a carbonara, a bit of a cream sauce, or not even a big fan of garlic sauce, nothing like that.
You're missing out.
What about peri peri mayo?
I could give it a try. I haven't tried it yet. I would be open to trying it because I like a bit of peri. I do like a bit of peri peri.
You haven't lived, but you haven't lived.
But yeah, P.
But you don't approve of that one,
Well, no, P. Diddy's getting done for less on that, in my opinion. Like, but, leave that in. Nobody knows anybody. I'm not that much of a Bieber fan anyway. Now we're still in the line. Quickly, last two. Shout out to Courtney, big friend and fan of the pod, I'm sure. This bollocks about having to dry yourself in fucking solitary confinement. I don't get what that's about.
You need to explain this. So you were telling me you dry...
I'd unfold the rug again earlier as well. Not the rug, the mat, sorry.
Not first rug, you've had to unfold, son.
Hopefully not the last.
So you get dry outside.
As long as it's not in reverse, you'll be alright.
Yeah, it was wet as fuck, so he has dried himself outside the shower as well.
Because...
Make that make sense for us, but go on.
Right, so we're in a shower now. That's the complete opposite to our dining room table, and it's a fucking 1x1 meter. And we got a little, what do you call it, shower tray where you put all your shampoos and fucking pube curling cream.
Where do you store your sledgehammer when you have a shower bag? Because I come in there and it's like fucking someone's just gone at it.
Do you know why? Because there's no fucking space to move in it. So by the time I've twatted my funny bone 4 times and lost my fucking head,
you're very elbow dominant, aren't you? You're very
fucking, by the time you've not do the chicken dance, but fucking you put your left arm up, you twat the fucking mirror, you put your left
another left
arse on my elbow, yeah.
We haven't got a mirror in there.
Which is pointless, because by the time it condensates, you can't see sweet FE.
You don't put the fan on then when you go in the shower,
well, no, and I only use cold water, so I only shower in cold and all. Genuine, yeah, weird, but I will only shower in cold water.
I respect that.
But yeah, there's essentially, I don't care if you think there's space, I'm categorically saying there is not enough space to dry yourself in that fucking...
Absolute nonsense.
How does he do it then? If he can do it, why can't you?
Yeah, I'm the same size as you. I got a bigger ass. Where am I putting my ass?
You'll have to think about that one, but because you're stumped there.
I just think he's doing it to prove a point, and I think he's struggling with the space as well, but he's just doing it to fucking make
I'm doing it not to get water all over the floor. That's
what's the point in a bath mat as well? That's what does me.
Well, yeah, it's not to fucking soak and then tie it up like origami and then put it over the door, like.
Well, right, alright, I'll concede that obviously I will have a quick lesson with you in the morning about how you want me to put the bath mat back. and then we'll fucking strike that one off the record. And that brings me just to my last point. Back to you, Jim. Sorry, I got 2 more points. I got a bit of venom coming from you on the holiday romance comment, I noticed as well. Just it was a little question on the second episode about why do people get into holiday romances? No problem, alright.
Falling in love on holidays.
I'm not going down any rabbit hole with anything by you, but you did say something. I did feel it was like I hope he's fucking listening to this. You said something like, it's just pointless, really, innit? And I was just like, well, thank you for the vote of confidence. Thank you very much. I was sat on a plane on a 4-day hangover because I've just been to Sydney.
Fall in love or?
No.
Not this time.
No, once a year on the holiday trips. That's just once a year. Well, yeah, once a year. No, it might have been 2.
Once a year?
Might have been 2. But yeah, back to just last quickly. Tash, obviously, great performance off there on the pod. She came at me for the washing the dishes, and it was something to do with like
running the water.
Oh, you do run the water like fucking full tilt.
But that's because our administrator for the house has not quite followed up on the broken dishwasher, so I try and take it upon myself to make sure everybody in the house has got clean dishes, which isn't something, and I'm not blaming Tash specifically for this, but I know it can't be Reese, because Reese came at me about two and a bit years ago when I was working a job I fucking hated in the city, and he texted me saying, oh, can you put some elbow grease into the dishes when you're doing them, but, and it's fucking stuck with me since, because I was like, I was working a fucking 10-hour day in the city while he's fucking, in a gym, fucking people watching or whatever. And I was like, my fucking cheeky, I'm fucking slaving away by it. And I got him fucking whinging about a little bit of butter on a fork or whatever. Knife would have been a better shout, but. So I know it can't be Reese, because if he ever left me with dirty dishes, he knows he's getting a comment back.
I've had a fair way.
So what done me was the fact that, like, well, maybe if we all use the water at the pressure I do, then we wouldn't have dirty dishes. Because I went, what did I have? Chicken rolls earlier, so I went to Coles, bought a nice fucking rotisserie chicken. Thought, I'll use a knife to spread some butter on. Can't use that one because it's covered in fucking dry old chutney. Cheers. I'm not blaming Tash, I'm just saying it's either you or Tash.
James does the dishes, so it's definitely him.
I do the dishes, and secondly, you shouldn't be using my dishes because they're my dishes. You boys got your dishes.
It's a fucking fork. It's a knife.
And then when it comes to that, I mean, this is opening a can of worms, and this pod is meant to be about something else. But the point is, you were using your water flat out, and he was spraying everywhere.
You are wild with the power.
We're all paying extra for this.
Oh God! Do you want to tell the audience how much it is now before you make out I'm financially bankrupting you?
It's like $1 a week.
$1 a week. Honestly, it's honestly about $6.
He doesn't use hot water in the shower either, so.
And he's only here 1 week of the month, so you can do what you want.
And I digress, boys. That's me. To be fair, again, now wrapped up.
I can't believe that only took you 20 minutes. I thought it was going to be a fucking full hour.
No.
Bendy getting. Big hand for me for that one.
Yeah.
Big hand.
I appreciate that. I'll take your feedback on the chin. I'll scrub harder when it comes to the knives. But well done, Saus. I bet it was hard listening and not being able to talk back when we were talking up dirty about you, but you've done well there with your notes and your stories.
No, like I said, and obviously that might have come across a bit aggressive from my part. I didn't mean it to.
Nah, it's all good.
But in general, you're all lovely people to live with, and I'm quite happy with you as housemates. So, yeah.
Just get that in right then.
Quite.
And then back on to today's episode, which I will put back in your hands.
Yeah, well, we've had a good crack with it, boys, but today's episode's a little remake of the one we did a few weeks ago before we had that wild buzzing noise that ruined it. So yeah, we're going to talk about man problems, I suppose, is the best way of describing them. I suppose we're men and we've got problems.
Yeah, and a little asterisk, I touched on this before, I totally believe women have more problems than men. Men have it harder. Women have it harder than men.
Sorry.
like biologically, work setting, dealing with men, because most men are
driving.
The pricks.
I wouldn't say most men are pricks. There's a minority, but they're definitely like massive pricks.
Yeah. But women got it tough end of the stick. But we were just going to explore from a bloke's perspective some bloke problems.
yeah, I don't think it'd be fair for us to talk about women's problems because we're not women.
No, I think, like all and any sort of jokes aside, we fully understand that they'd have difficulties that we just don't really understand. So we'll keep it to what we think we've got a rough idea about.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just we can only talk about our experiences, really. Like, obviously, none of us are qualified therapists or mental health specialists, but
You've done a good job for me, mate. I'll give you that over the 2 years.
same to you, but we've been like therapists for each other, haven't we?
Oh,
So I was just checking if we had a buzz in number.
I know, that's what I'm not sure on.
Nah, it's just the aircon, I think we're sound.
we were just saying, but there, weren't we, about, like, I think me and you have sort of been each other's therapists, and in all fairness, all the boys we've managed to meet and make friends with over here, I think we've all found everybody's in a bit of a similar boat. If you're sort of only out there on maybe a temporary visa to start with, you do go through a few problems because you've got stresses around general life things, not having permanent residency in a country you might want to stay, and then all associated issues that might come with that. But yeah, I think we'll have a little bit of a crack at just trying to talk through as many as we can.
Yeah, try and unpick some of that. And I think, like, for me personally, having you around, but there's been massive, and then obviously now I got Jim and Tash as well.
Appreciate that.
And like, I think until I come out here, I probably didn't struggle that much mentally, I don't think.
I think me and you said something similar. We might have touched on maybe the first or second episode, but for considering this is the best my life has ever been, and it continues to, very fortunately get better, it's only since moving to Oz that I have had struggles, because everything is just amplified over here. Like, with having better access to a different lifestyle, what I would personally say is a better lifestyle, it brings problems that we've never have experienced back home. And I think, yeah, it does catch you out because you constantly try and get to grips with it, but for whatever reason, whether it's initially financial reasons or for me, working long hours probably plays a fair part. And obviously back home, you're working a 40-hour week. Even if you have one shit day in work, I got football training on a Wednesday and I'm playing football on a Saturday, and then I'm seeing the boys. Pretty much, you can if you're having a bad day, you can give somebody a text, go for a bit of food, go for a Nando's after work. For me, down the mines, if I'm having a shit day, I got another fucking 14 of them to go. And it's tough. And yeah, it's like my biggest struggle is how I feel outside of work compared to when I'm in work, and trying to balance the two. And that'll be an ongoing battle, and it will get there because I'm very lucky to have a big friendship group, a lot of people who will give you the time of day, and that really does go a long way. And I think, obviously moving in with Jimmy and Tash, you get that extra perspective, living with a girl as well, and having a close mate who's able to tell you things different to your normal circle, that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think, like, for me personally, obviously I think the self-employed thing probably contributed to a lot of my stress and still continues to, because like I said at the start, you and I, Saus, we're living on the floor, scraping by on the bones of our asses, and I'm like genuinely struggling to get clients on board. I've never had to sell myself in the same way that I had to when I moved out here. And yeah, it's been a tough ride, like, and I think I said already on the pod, I've had some of the highest highs, but definitely the lowest lows. And I think one of the first points on our list, but there is mates that you've already talked about. And I think even being able to come home at the end of a day where I'm struggling to make ends meet, maybe questioning myself and my ability, because you do like I think I knew deep down I was good at what I do and I could pull myself out there, but you start to doubt yourself and thinking, fucking hell, I've made the wrong decision coming out there. Am I going to have to go and work fucking Uber Eats, or am I have to go and work down the mines and do construction, which is something I've never done
Or would have wanted to do.
or am I going to have to go home and with my tail between my legs? And but yeah, I wouldn't call it failing because I've had a go, but it would have felt like I failed.
Sorry, Reece, I think that's the way we've been brought up. It would have felt like a failure, and it is stressful relocating and moving to another country because you're leaving that comfort zone. You're leaving the South Wales bubble where you know everyone, you know your job, and you're going into the unknown. And it is tough. It's not all sunshine and rainbows like on social media. Like when I first arrived, I was had visa issues, so couldn't have the job I was offered. So then I was back on the shovel, and if anyone knows me, I belong on a keyboard, not a shovel. And it was hard, and I was looking into moving somewhere else because I wasn't going to go back home purely because of the embarrassment of maybe having to go back home. So I was looking at other countries. It is stressful, but it is, and you need people around you. You need mates to get you through those times.
Oh. And yeah, I think, sorry to cut in, but I think it's good just coming, the ability to be able to come home now and have a chat with any of you three. And like at the beginning, Saus, we'd be able to come home and just have a fucking chat about the stuff we were struggling with. And you get it out and you start bouncing back and forth and you realise like, we're in this together. It's probably not as wildly bad as it seems in your head.
I think what I will say is financial stress is different to any other type of mental stress, where if you're stressing about, which we'll touch on later, maybe gym appearance, girls, whichever, you can work on that yourself, and that doesn't cost you anything to try different things out with and see progress yourself, talk to your mates about. Financially, I'm speaking broadly, but here we've all been here. Like so when we went over to Sydney, didn't we? We landed in October, went over to Sydney in the December, and I went over with not enough money to go, bought tickets to a festival, which I put on a credit card. And before I managed to get a job down the mines, I came back to Perth. We had to come back just before New Year's because neither of us could afford to go to that festival. We had to sell the ticket to have some money.
Yeah.
And I can't make out as if I thought I was fucked, because I did know the job down the mines was kicking off. But I still had about less than $100 in my CommBank, which is the Australian bank account, and about £9,500 of debt on a credit card and a loan back home. And it was mental. I remember talking to my parents thinking, I actually can't come home. Not because I think it's failing. If I went back home, I'd have still had that exact same amount of debt, and I'd have had to put a car on, what do you call it, like a lease hire purchase agreement or whichever, which would have been fucked, and it would have been disastrous. Like I'd have sold a car just to spend money trying to get set up in the country and then go back home just to try and get re-established, and I would have been chasing my tail. I would have been going till I was 35 paying that off.
Yeah. And
fortunately, managed to get through that. But just highlighting what you were saying, but I think it's a different stress.
Oh, money woes just consume you, didn't they? Like you will lie in bed and you literally can't sleep because it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do by it.
And it's that age-old question then about it consumes you different to anything else. But when you come to Australia and you start picking up experiences, you also realise it's not the most important thing. But it has the biggest impact on the life you're able to live, which is sort of the double-edged sword of it all, in here, where you've got to try and keep yourself afloat and on your feet.
Yeah, but it's human nature though to get through your stresses and find a way to resolve them. Like stresses come and go. You are, but a bit parched too.
Oh, I don't know if that's mine. I can't see. It's a black mug, see, so you can't see the colour of the squash.
But stresses come and go, and as you get older, you learn to deal with these stresses, and you learn to realise that stresses will come and go. Like we go through, you're stressed about exams, you think it's the end of the world in school, and then you move on to the next thing. You're stressing about having a nice car, or you're stressing about your holidays, or like last week.
Someone eating your ketchup.
The point I'm trying to make is that everyone's got these stresses, some more than others, but you find a way as a human to get through them, and you're not on your own. And again, mates are there to help you through your stress.
And just quickly, but I think with that as well, what you said is spot on. I think one men's problem that I struggle with, I can't generalise and say everybody does, but you get through what you've just said. You get through exam stress in school, and then getting a job and maybe working your way up in a career, but you forget you've come through that. And which is the sort of ironic part of it, because if you'd remembered you got through that, you probably wouldn't let stuff get you as much as they do later on in life. But you just forget that I don't want to say you always end up okay, because that's not always the case, but you do get through more things than you don't. But you just
think
forget
of all the fucking terrible shit that's happened to you in your life. You're still here and you're doing alright. So you find a way to cope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like we said, I think having your mates around is massive.
I do like the sense of humour the mates put on these things. Like, you could be stressing about, you put on a bit of timber, or your hairline's not looking too good, or you're stressing about putting this photo on Instagram. You chuck it on, your mates will rip into you. They make it easier.
Well, this is a difference in it between boys and girls, I think. Is like, you know, a girl, for example, will post a photo on Instagram and they've got this full support network of other girls. Slay queen, like a load of flame emojis. Oh my god, hun, stunning. And like, you flip that on its head and you go to a boys post. It's just a load of their mates just ripping the piss out of them.
Because you've got the boys scanning the photo, and if they can spot anything, straight in a WhatsApp, zoomed in, double chin might be an inch down, and you're like,
crease in your white trousers.
Yeah, you know, might be the smallest crease, and you're getting slated for it.
Oh yeah,
but that's what it's all about when you know it's coming from a good place as well.
Well, this is, I think, like a few people have kind of called me out a bit, Saus, for kind of going at you a bit, especially in the Welshisms episode. But I think the ultimate compliment in the way we were brought up, and what people have got to understand is we're not Welsh and we come from where we've come from. The ultimate compliment is to be able to rip the piss into your best mate and they just laugh it off and do it back. Like, if I call you a cunt, I'd be, you can more than take that and give back as good as you get.
Or the way we talk in every day, like, it's just sort of implied that everything you say to each other, it's all sort of fair game, because you know that above, and it is lucky when you've got best mates. And I think there's that, not to go into the rabbit hole, but like, people say, most people only have 4 or 5 best mates. When you've got your mates back home who you're close with, and then you come to Oz, and then you go through the Oz experience, maybe you do end up finding yourself with more close mates, and that's it in a nail on the head. You just fucking...
more people to take the piss out.
It's literally more. It's like you'll be there down in the dumps, and then the boys are like, Kev does, like, me and Kev have just gone to Sydney now, and like, me and him are very similar. I won't go into the woes we've had, but like, you let your mind wander on completely trivial shit that you don't need to, and you're just there, like, we're in the airport, both on a we're on 4-day hangover, both sat there, bit of holiday booze kicking in, and we're just both ripping the piss out of each other, sending each other like fucking Insta reel sat next to each other about one thing relating to the other, and you just here laughing through it, and you can't like understate how good that is for you.
You don't realise that, although a lot of your best mates are thinking very similarly to you when they're going through similar shit. You might think, fuck, I'm the only one who's dealing with this, and it might be a girl, whoa, and you think, oh fucking hell, I'm obsessed with this girl and I must be a weirdo because I'm thinking this way. And then you have a chat with the boys and they're like, yeah, no, same.
Well, how chalk and cheese would me and you have been when we first moved over here? Like, obviously, I said a few times I came out to Oz to grow up, so how I would have been initially when I came over here, I would have felt a bit, not too much immature, but I would have felt a bit undeveloped in a few social aspects, or maybe confidence-wise, or the way I deal with things. And then I talk to Reese, and I'd be like, for example, if it was about girl trouble, I'd look at Reese and be like, fucking, PT, always looking well, he can't have girl troubles, like, he just can't. And then we get talking and find out you thought very similarly to me, and I'd be like, didn't realise that would be the case. And then you learn then, and I think, you listen, and then you do then, like, when you speak to somebody who's going through something like you are, you give them the time of day, you listen to what they're saying, and then you get better, not giving advice, because, we're not qualified to give advice, but you just listen and giving a little bit of help back.
Yeah, it is advice at the end of the day, and like, we've both helped each other out in that regard, I think.
Big time.
But I think, that whole, like, ripping a piss out of each other, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because I think, in a way, it kind of bulletproofs you. But then, equally, I think we're all a bit too guilty of probably... Cereal, but they're like...
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't think that through. I really didn't think that through. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Bath.
Sorry, Bath.
I completely lost my train of thought. Bulletproofs you, and you can end up kind of talking yourself down, and I'm guilty of that a lot. And I'm fucking terrible at taking compliments, now that I get too many. There we go, I've just done it again. But I'm guilty of doing that, and then I'm guilty of not backing myself, because you kind of think, I'm not fucking up to that. But yeah, what's your view, Jim? Any?
Well, it definitely bulletproofs you. You grow up in that environment where you're getting the piss taken out of you, but then it plants that seed. Then there's that plants a bit of doubt. Like, ooh, have I put on weight?
I don't know if it's the right time to ask if you're going to come back to it, but obviously it'd be good to get Jimmy's view, because me and Reese would have very similar problems as being single at the minute. And
Aye.
I don't know if in my head, I think if I was in a relationship, I might have less of the problems I've got now, but I don't know whether that's been the case, or whether because when does it give you a little bit more security? And I don't know if it's the right time to bring it up, but it was just like me thinking, but they're like, how do you view it?
No, it's a good question, to be fair. People say like, oh, I'm going to stress about losing your hair and shit like that and stuff now because you've got a missus. But for me, it's those stresses don't go away. You still want to stay in good nick for yourself and for your partner.
Self-pride, isn't it?
It is a self-pride, and there's external pressures. Obviously, you got the social media, the standard stuff in today's society, but it's the internal stuff for me. Like that those sort of things don't go away for me, and I don't understand how people get comfortable in relationships and they let themselves go. There's different factors here, so a different wormhole in there. But I mean, no, and actually to your question, they don't really go away. You still want to compete with others. You've still got a standard for yourself. So you still got to maintain that self-respect, really.
No, and I think that's definitely will always be the big thing that I've tried to find, because believe it or not, despite the many stories, self-respect to be something that I've had to sort of find since coming to Oz, because realising there probably wasn't a lot of it there back home, because I was living at home, not paying rent, didn't weren't in any trouble or problems, but there weren't a lot to have too much self-pride in. But then coming over here, looking after yourself, got to try and stay well in the gym, keep an eye on the diet, and building up that self-pride to the point where you can probably get into a relationship and keep that, and that's going to be massive.
Die tangent has jumped on a bit, but going back to the last point on the list about mates, then I think because there's an onslaught coming from the boys doing something like this, or I do it with the bloody social media content. I've been doing it a few years with fitness. The reason a lot of people hold themselves back from trying this or posting on social media is, what are the boys going to say when they screenshot that first post and put it in the WhatsApp group? I'm going to have a fucking hiding.
Oh.
I wonder how many people might sort of think a bit similar to me with this, where since moving over here, and the reason why I just did not care about giving this a go, because me and you sort of chatted a lot about podcasts, and obviously you've done a bit before and we have a laugh or whatever. I live so much in my own head, I haven't got space anymore to give a shit about what other people think.
No one's criticising you more than you are they?
Nobody. I am my own worst enemy by quite the country mile. That it's like, I just don't care what people think no more. It's like, they're not going to have a worse opinion than myself than what I've got.
Yeah, no, we laugh about that, but I'm probably right there with you, to be honest. But moving on to body image, then. So again, we just touched upon that a little bit, and I think, classically, when you think body dysmorphia, unfortunately, you think of women. But I think, male body dysmorphia is just as big, if not on its way to getting bigger, by all accounts. And obviously I see it at work in the gym, particularly with the younger generation over here. A lot of bodybuilding influence, and the influences of social media, where you see your social media is just full of the top 1%. And with blokes, it's abs, and it's big rig, abs. And I think, you end up comparing yourself to that, and you look in the mirror and you go, I'm not big enough, I need to take this, I need to take that. You got the fucking Sam Suleks of the world, all the kids out there want to be him. And
I don't know.
I think it's like...
Oh, you big boy.
Is he a big boy?
Oh,
yeah.
big boy.
Yeah, he's a big, geared up bodybuilder.
But people, like even those people though, they're not happy. I reckon, like, even though they look good on the on the post on Instagram because they've tarted themselves up and the lighting's good, as soon as the photo shoot is over, they look at themselves in the mirror and they don't think they're truly happy. They're never content. That's just the way people are.
But I think as well, if you, we might be reiterating some of the stuff from the fitness pod, but like if you set a benchmark for yourself of being ultra lean and geared up to the eyeballs, when you're not in that position, you're going to feel shit about yourself, I think. And yeah, I think, when you are stage ready, you must feel like absolute shit because you're so depleted of energy, dehydrated. It's not a healthy way to be. And I think bodybuilders are probably some of the most insecure people out there because you feel like you've got to uphold this image all the time, and yeah, I'm not a fan at all.
But it's that thing in it about when you compare or when you think you want to be, like maybe a bodybuilder or whatever, all you want is a physique. You don't want everything else that goes with it.
Yeah.
You don't want the problems that might arise from, what social problems might they get for committing a life to that? They might lose out on experiences that you would have. But you just think, no, I just want that physique. But that's not reflective of the journey or, what the problems that goes with it.
Genuine physical problems as well. As if you're abusing performance enhancing drugs, that's probably going to have a toll at some point.
Yeah.
You look at reduced libido. You look at, for females, particularly lose your period, potential infertility if you're not careful with, these are extremes, like, and I just worry for that next generation. I see them all, they got to walk around like they're fucking tensing all the time and taking wild selfies in the mirrors, and I just don't get it. And it's a bit narcissistic for me as well, to be honest, but just my opinion.
Yeah, just take it easy on yourself. People, every person in the world has got something they're not happy about, physically, or a little problem. So just take it easy.
And nobody will ever think that, whatever you think in your own head, I have learned to realise that the vast majority of people don't see it half as bad as what you do.
Yeah.
So they, if I don't think I look particularly well, and you go out and you get compliments, somebody says, "Oh, Saus, you're looking a bit slim," or "You're looking well," and you think, "Oh, well, fucking 2 hours ago I was looking in the mirror thinking, who ate all the pies?" But in reality, no, I probably shouldn't have said that. But back to your point. What did you say? Love yourself. Or you said it a bit less.
No, just take it
Love
easy.
thy neighbour.
A bit less fruity and love yourself on it. Sorry, take it easy.
Yeah, and don't worry too much about what other people think because most people don't give a fuck.
But you think, I think it's Alex O'Mosey. You fans of him, boys? Do you know who he is?
No, I don't know.
He's a bit full on for me. I know you like him, but he's a bit...
Oh, he's very full on.
He's like, oh, you can make $1 million, you can make 10 million overnight if you do these 10 things. Bollocks.
No, to be fair, he's one of the best out there, but he's not, I don't think he's full of shit, but he's a workaholic.
Yeah.
He's like addicted to the game, as he calls it, but I've picked up a couple of good things from him. He's a bit full on, right, but he put a post up about the Queen. So it was 6 months after the Queen had passed away, right, and he said, it was like a carousel on Instagram, and he did, big paragraphs on each page. This is the Queen of England. She was once, the most recognisable woman on the planet. Had X amount of money in the bank. She's lived till she was nearly 100. She's had the longest reigning monarch in history, blah, blah, blah. And he said, she died 6 months ago today. How many times have you thought about her in the last 6 months? And for me, that was like, fucking hell, yeah. Maybe for a week or so, and then you're on to the next thing. And so, yeah, I guess what you can take from that is you're a long time dead. When you are dead, people aren't going to be fucking thinking about all the stupid, embarrassing shit you did. And no, I think when you're on your deathbed and you're 85 and you're looking back, you're probably not going to be bothered about those times you did something embarrassing and you shot your shot and it didn't work out. I think you're just going to remember the stuff you did have a crack at and the good times you had, and yeah, fucking have a go, innit?
I think like that when I'm having tea and biscuits.
Do?
I'm like, if I have this extra biscuit, in 5 years' time, am I going to regret it? Does it actually fucking matter if I have this extra biscuit?
I don't think that way, but I definitely could benefit from it, to be fair. But you are right.
Another, again, this is a complete tangent, but while we're on the subject of Hormozy, the other thing that has helped me a lot, and you know, it's a bit of a fucking YOLO mentality, and it's a bit cheesy, right? But when I'm caught in making a difficult decision now, again, I think I heard him say this on a podcast, right? And he said, when you're faced with a difficult decision, and it could be in anything, it could be in, work, relationship, trying a podcast, for example, picture yourself. So imagine your 85-year-old self. You've just woken up in the body you're in now. You get out of bed, you realise, fucking hell, my knee's not hurting, my hip's not hurting, I can walk. You look in the mirror, you're fucking handsome. Your parents are still alive, your best mates are all still around. You've got this world of opportunity in front of you. And then it kind of puts it into perspective a bit, and it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a go.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's helped me a lot, but
yeah,
and I think that's something you can it's really fucking poignant, because you speak to older people. It's fascinating, right? You speak to older people, even your parents, and they all say, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, and you kind of just go, yeah, I've got loads of time, I can do that. But time flies by. I'm gonna be fucking 32 in a few weeks, boys, and I don't do that, please.
No, that's another stress, but I'm only
that's another fucking stress.
I'm catching you up when you're only taking a piss.
But that's right, but we can have a laugh. But yeah, just fucking roll a dice and see what happens in it, because life's shit.
I think you made a good point by there, mind as well, where obviously that whole mosey or whatever might resonate with you, and if it does resonate with you, then that is the only thing that would matter to you. But it just goes to show as well, doesn't it, where sometimes the old ideal way of thinking, although sometimes people might not be in a place to hear it, some people will be. So it's very subjective what sticks with you. If that's helped you, that is all that matters.
Yeah.
But like I said, sometimes the old ideal way of thinking, or try and get this amazing perspective, it just might not be something most people. I said, going back to the men's problems. Sometimes you hear that unbelievable advice that would on any other day give you a new perspective, but you just haven't got the right frame of mind to let it sink in on the one day. And some of the best advice you could get falls on deaf ears, and you stay trapped in the cycle for a little bit longer just because. Yeah,
I think that could definitely happen. And I think it all boils down to confidence at the end of the day, which is something we'll touch on very shortly. But yeah, Jim, you mentioned getting older there, but so what are you now, 29?
I'm 29, but 2 years of COVID, so technically 27.
Oh, I like that.
I spent 2 years in my bedroom locked in the house.
I'd be 25.
I'm 29 then.
So there you are.
Sound.
So yeah, it depends what calendar you're looking at, but unfortunately 29 at the minute.
I love that. That's a glass half full mentality I could take.
Right, that's that bit of advice you needed then, is it?
Okay, I'm only 25.
So yeah, how do you feel about turning 30 then, Jim?
It is frustrating. I don't feel that age, and then
frustrating in what regard? Sorry,
frustrating in that people start making comments, people start judging.
I wouldn't do that too, but
I'm sure you wouldn't. But and there is pressures from society. Why haven't you bought a house yet? And then also, then you got to think about health wise. And family wise, you got to start having kids now at this age. Serious stuff starts happening. I'd love to move to Canada after this, but if you look at the age of where we are, it's not realistic now. So it limits you realistically on what you can do. But in the grand scheme of things, can't do anything about it. So just crack on. Simple as.
I think it's tough, and I don't know, I was listening to a couple of girls in work the other day. One of them's turning 25 this year, and she was like, I can't believe I'm turning 25, I'm so old. And I was just sitting there shaking my head.
Yeah, that's annoying.
It is annoying, but I probably did the same when I was 25.
Yeah, and I remember when I was in year 8 and I was seeing people in sixth form, and I thought, bloody hell, they're massive, they're old, and they're 17, 18.
And everybody does that, 'cause when I turned 25, first thing I thought was, I'm the wrong side of 20.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in your head, fucking 30 still a fair way off, but you don't think to yourself, I'm only 25, instead of having, look at what I can do, is halfway to 30.
Yeah, you're always kind of one eye on the clock, but I think you don't, turning 30, I don't really feel any different than when I did when I was 25. Obviously, you have like the odd niggling injuries that maybe take a little bit longer to recover from, but inside you're still 25, and you said you lost those 2 years to COVID. I feel like I'm 26, 27.
Yeah, and as long as you feel that way, like, don't let other people get you down and take.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit of a battle, because like you said, you're up against the clock with starting a family, etc. Right? Well, I'm further in front of you, and I'm single, and I look around. It's really difficult. Like, I've got a few mates in my position, and I know they feel similar to me, and I'm, glad I've had chats with them about it, because you look at most people my age now, they're kind of settled, they're engaged, married, got a kid on the way, or they've got a kid, mortgage, etc. And it's difficult not to compare yourself to them. And I bet there's probably one or two that would maybe change places with me if they could. That's what you've got to remember. But yeah, it's a bit of it's a battle, and you kind of, although you don't feel any different, you have got to sort of be realistic in the sense that you can't keep drifting by forever.
So what is it? So there's 2 years between each of us then. So I'm 27, you're 29, you're 31.
31.
And it would be very similar for all of us. We're similar to yourself. Like, a lot of boys now, younger than me, like a couple of boys younger than me, starting to maybe have a couple of kids. I'm going home for 2 weddings in May. Just boys my age getting married, and you do have that thought where you're like, I haven't, alright, hopefully there's room for optimism, but I've got nothing concrete at all lined up, so like, I don't think that's going to happen in the immediate future for me, certainly before I'm 30, and that's just, I can't see me getting married before 30.
You just don't know, do, but it is a trade-off, and I like the life that we've chosen. Like, not just myself and Tash, but I think what you boys have done as well. Like, you've experienced living in Australia, you've done something amazing. Like, if you had bought a house up in the valleys, and you'd got your Mercedes on finance, and you'd got your French pug, or whatever I said last time, like, it's a trade-off in it. You've sacrificed getting the house early, getting kids early for this experience, and there's nothing wrong with that. People have got their own journey, their own story, and there is time to do them both. But yeah, there is that fact that the time is slowly running out for certain things.
Yeah,
but that's the man's problem, isn't it? But there, we're like, just as the man, we think like that. I think we've touched on maybe girls do as well, but as a man, you can't, for some reason, it's not easy for us to think, I've chosen to do this experience, so I'm more likely to find somebody a bit more maybe like-minded like myself. It might take me a bit while longer to get there, but that's probably going to be worth it in the long run for you. But for some reason, the man's problem is you just can't see it that way now. And you stress about time when realistically there's no need to, but it doesn't go away.
And it works both ways, because there'd be blokes 10 years older than me that would go, fucking hell, I wish I was in your position now at 31 and have the opportunity you got. But you said earlier about stressing, you always find something to stress over. You always want what you haven't got. Grass always seems greener, and it's probably not most of the time. But it is a battle, and I think, turning 30 is probably the first time I felt kind of mortal, I suppose, in a strange way, because like,
I fucking definitely don't feel immortal, I can tell you that.
But I think in your 20s, you just, you're made of rubber and magic, and you just kind of like, any bumps and injuries you recover from, like that, and you got all this time ahead of you, and you can kind of, I think you got to experiment in your 20s. You got to fucking try shit. Who's in a rush to settle down, like you said, in a two-bed inclinari and the French pug.
Why wouldn't you give an all-day romance a go in your 20s, innit?
Yeah, why not, eh?
That's what the 20s is for. That's finding out, sussing things out. Don't worry about climbing the ladder and stuff in work. Do you want the 20s? 30s is when you're settling down, and unfortunately,
at some point, hopefully. But yeah, I think immortal in the sense that you notice little changes in you, and like, I guess I don't view myself as like overly good looking or anything, right? And people tell me I'm good looking, and I've never really believed them that much. But I guess like subconsciously, you kind of use your looks as a metric, and I've always had pride in trying to look presentable, or whatever. But you notice little things. You notice your wrinkles might be getting a bit thicker, and thicker, is that the right word? Clearer, thicker, prevalent.
There's
Great word.
college and eye masks in a fridge if you need one.
They're all in the bin now, but
oh, you're joking. They haven't been binned, have they?
You're joking. But yeah, you kind of, I think subconsciously using that, your looks as your metric, you start to realise, fuck, this is not going to last forever. Maybe for one, I haven't appreciated what I may have. And little things like the next point on my list, boys, your hairline. And I always used to fucking hate my hair, right? Curly hair, I couldn't control it as a kid, and everyone used to call me curly bollocks or whatever. Maybe that was just my old man. And I think a couple of years ago I put a selfie on my story after training one night, and it had been pissing down with rain, and one of our mates, funny enough, big shout out to Ash Thomas, I think he's a listener of the pod, he messaged me, fuck me, but you haven't got many haircuts left. And that was the first time I was like, fuck, he might be onto something there, because I just thought I was just having a few shit haircuts, and I was like, fucking, I don't want to throw Dean under the bus, but I was thinking, fucking hell, Dean done a very good job for a while, like. Yeah. And lo and behold, I think the old hairline was creeping back, and I quickly learned that I wasn't alone, boys.
So I look at photos of myself when I first moved to Oz, and I was the exact same as you, because body image and confidence in myself was really not where it needed to be when I first moved over here, and weight issues and hairline were biggest two for me, because it was always that case of I felt I needed to give myself something to worry about, and like it's not, this isn't half as bad, but like my one at the minute is the bags under my eyes, because I think I got in my head that because of the nature of the work, and then gymming on top of that, and then having a couple of days on the piss on the week off, I feel as if I'm burning a candle at both ends. And I look in the mirror and I feel as if I can notice it, and then other people have said to me, no, you can't. Some people have said, oh, your eyes look a bit heavy or whatever, and then once you get that niggling comment of doubt, fucking hard to get rid of it. But the hairline is one that I think you've hit on the head. A lot of boys we know, I think all the three of us on tablets for it, if that's alright to say. I don't know,
Yeah, well, I think it's important to talk about, because I didn't even know that was an option.
Me and you got on the tablets at a very similar time to each other, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then obviously there's one of the boys, I won't say his name, but as soon as I say one of the boys, you'll know who I'm on about. He does a very good job of taking it on the chin. Not literally, metaphorically. Sorry, but yeah, but like his hairline's going back, and he just says, well, it's natural, and it does make him a bit bulletproof to the comments, because I always thought it was, it's just that little bit of banter, something, as the boys, you normally use something that you might have up over somebody else, not to be a twat to them, but just to, if they're giving you a bit of banter back, you can just dash in your else pocket to fire back with.
Yeah.
But like, I'd be gutted if somebody started rinsing me for my hairline. Luckily, I've changed the haircut a little bit, and I used to just not, I let the front grow out a little bit more, and a little bit fair play. Just big shout out to Scotty Tow. He told me about sea salt spray, and it does do wonders, boys. You fucking put a bit of sea salt spray and just a bit of texture on the front of the hair, and it just squares everything off nice. People can't see the fact my hair starts about fucking 4/3 of the way up my hair, which is the wrong fraction.
4/3.
Oh, it's been a while since I've been in school, but the hairline was a massive one. Used to look in the mirror, and it was like, no matter how well you gym, no matter how you could lose a bit more weight, can't fucking put hair back on your head. Well, you can, but it's going to cost you a premium.
And it kills me as a thing now. Like, you look back in the 80s and the 70s, even the early 90s, boys our age would not care.
Yeah.
And now, because of...
You see the fucking hairs, fucking the Barnetts or the boys in the 70s?
Yeah,
fucking
no,
strong. Like, you look at any football team in the 70s, like fucking...
I know.
I'd give a left bollock to have hair like that.
I reckon you could pull off a Kevin Keegan.
Little perm.
Yeah.
But it just skulls me that it's now a thing. But it's like getting older. It's a part of life. You can try your best to hold on, but we need to just start accepting it at some point.
I don't know, but because we'll talk about the tablets we're on, right? Because I'd heard about. I think it was a podcast I used to listen to. Was sponsored by Suns, one of the companies back home that do these tablets. And I never thought about it. I thought I was sound. Again, it goes back to the piss taking thing. Like, I used to take a piss out my old man because he was getting a bit of a penalty spot. I used to call him Zinedine.
Well, a biscuit.
Old biscuit.
Yeah, a bit of a biscuit. But yeah, like from having a chat with one of our other mates, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm on finasteride and minoxidil for my hair," and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And you start researching it. I think I listened to a Andrew Huberman podcast talking about hair loss, and I was like, fuck, there's actually an option to, maybe not fully prevent it, but certainly to halt it or slow it down. And yeah, I think, I did my research. There's obviously potential side effects with like the DHT blockers, because what it does, so testosterone converts to DHT, which is another form of testosterone, and that's what kills your hair follicles. So if you take a DHT blocker, it stops that process happening, so it can affect your, the testosterone levels in your body. But the company we've gone through, they do like a thorough questionnaire. You speak to a doctor when you start. They make sure you've got no, problems, because it can affect like sexual health and stuff, and obviously arousal and shit like that. I don't know why I just said arousal.
Oh, right.
I could have just left it as sexual health, couldn't I?
You alright with arousal these days? I'm alright.
Yeah, well, that's...
And that's not me. That's not me.
Yeah.
Is that a dig? No, right. Sorry. Can I just say?
Back up?
No, can I just say for the viewers?
Literally,
that was a subtle dig, and that wasn't me saying, "Oh, look at me and my fucking arousal." I was just a little low key.
Top shot.
No, that was definitely not the case. It was just a little slight, gentle, little prod to Reese. That was, but that wasn't the. I come across terribly by there, and I apologise.
But no, again, we'll talk about that then, shall we?
Go on then.
It's an open book, this pod, and I can delete it if I want to, because I'm editing it. But yeah, you talk about that, right? So I think over the last couple of years since we moved out here, I had a few issues with our side of things as well. And you might have a giggle, boys, but but again, right? I kind of thought, I think it was all stress and anxiety driven, and then I'm a nightmare for getting in my own head about it, right? So you start to think, fucking hell, there's something wrong with me. I think a massive part of it's in your head, and I would compare it to stage fright, which I know is something you struggle with, so I'm going to chuck you straight back under the bus for there. But any blokes have had stage fright, right? You go to have a piss in the urinal, and then you kind of... It's not because there's other people looking at what you're doing. You're aware you're surrounded, and you're taking a little bit too long to get started, and you're like, I need to start pissing now, or it's going to look weird. And then you get in your own head, and you might be borderline pissing your pants, but for some reason you can't fucking start.
I was going to say, if me and you were TV shows, we'd have Top of the Flops and For a Stage Fright the Freddy's.
But no, like genuinely, like from having chats again with the boys, I was speaking to. I'm not going to throw anyone else under the bus because they probably don't want me to. But I'm speaking to boys. One in particular we know is a mutual connection. Boys who he does all right, doesn't he, with the fear of sex, shall we say?
Yeah, got a good chat.
But he said, it's something he's really struggled with, And, you know, he said about the mental side, and then I spoke to someone else who was exactly the same. I spoke to someone else who was the same again, and I'm like, you know, it helps you out then, because you're like, fucking hell, I'm not alone in this. But yeah, I went through this patch of being so in my own head about it, it become a problem, like.
Yeah.
And
But I can't explain my one at all, like, and I can't speak to anybody else about it, because nobody else I know has got the problem I've got,
which is stage fright.
Yeah, like I obviously different sort of thing, but very similarly linked. Where I go to watch football, I go to watch rugby in this fucking 60,000 seater stadium, and I cannot have a piss next to a fella in the urinal.
That's always every
That
time.
has been with me since I can remember as a kid.
Wow.
I would have been ever since I was a young kid. And to this day now. I mean, I went to a festival Sunday, and
I was going to say we were in a festival last year, weren't we? And you had the queue for the fucking...
Honestly, the boys are running in and out. They're like, oh, let's go for a quick piss. I'm like, I can't go for a quick piss. It's a queue of 70 women, and I'm at the back. And they're going, what's this weird cunt doing in the queue? And I'm like, it's not like that, girls. I just physically... You can probably piss in places I can't, like, because I can't.
Just want to have a sit down wee.
I just, because if I got to stand up sandwiched in between two fellas, which, yeah.
Not for the first time.
No, it won't be the last. I just can't.
So hang on, you queued for the ladies' toilet?
I will, no. I just queued for the unisex toilet.
Ah, right.
I'm not a fucking Jesus. But, yeah, it's a nightmare, and I don't know if I could see anybody about it, but possibly could, but... choose to live with it, but it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
No, I've suffered with it myself, and obviously not to that regard, that extent, but like, it's horrific when you just want to fucking let it go and you can't, like, and sometimes then you just got to pretend, pretend you're shaking him off, like, back in the pants, wander around, I'll go to the other toilet and try again.
So, in work, there's only 4 cubicles, there's about 100 blokes, so you'll go in and there'll be 4 cubicles engaged, and there'll be some fella pissing in the urinal, and he'll go, right, come on, today's a day, la-di-da-di-da, hiya buddy, how's work, how's it going, how's your mother, father working? And then you just stood in next to him, and he's there like, oh, shaking away, and then like, you right, bud? Yeah. And somebody comes out of the cubicle and you got to redo the zipper and jump in there because you just feel so embarrassed. And alright, it's easy to make a bit of a laugh and a joke about that, but you do feel awkward and quite it's concerning, because you think to yourself, like, if somebody would have done that to me and I didn't have that problem, then I'd be thinking, why is he just stood fucking next to me and not pissed?
Yeah. It's a tough one. I remember I conquered that fear. So
how'd you do it?
It wasn't by choice. So basically, I met with a group of us. We went to watch Stereophonics, Cardiff City Stadium. Managed to get a good spot towards the front, and as you do, you're drinking pints. And I was dying for a piss, but I did not want to leave the front. So I was like, "Oh, boys, Jenna, now I need a wee. Will you form a little circle around me, and I'll piss in this pint glass?" So I started having a wee in this plastic pint glass. And as I do that, the boys, they all just run away. They all disperse.
Oh no!
And I'm just standing there, weeing in this glass. I got loads of different people looking at me, laughing, and I'm just crying, laughing because I can't believe what they've actually done. And then I'm just like, I've pissed in front of hundreds of people now, and it doesn't matter now. So I feel more comfortable with it. There's nothing I could do in that moment.
Is that the answer, Saus?
I would not be able to instigate a stream of piss around a circle of boys.
They were facing the other way. They weren't looking in.
It needs to be 4 inanimate walls surrounding me. And unless we can do it
could be like Michael McIntyre's show, where like you just put you in a fake toilet, and then we just once you're midstream, full studio audience.
This is where my problem is, and it gets quite severe, and I'll just touch on it briefly, is, if I don't know, say an average piss takes 30 to 40 seconds.
Good flow.
If I haven't finished 25% of the piss and some fella walks next to me, it's like an instant tap off, and I'm like, you fucking joking.
Never.
That's wild.
Oh, boys, it's clean off, like.
I get not be able to kickstart it, but then stop in mid-flow, that's clean off, son.
And it's a weird one where, like, it doesn't. Yeah, it's just like I can't explain why. It's something I've had since I was a kid, and 20 years later I can't curb the fuck that.
Anyway, going back to me putting my bollocks on the line, quite literally, because I think yeah, I'd hope that this could help a few people. So I'm not embarrassed. I might be. I might cut all this out, but yeah, my advice would be, boys, there are some little friendly tablets you can use that work an absolute treat, and I just think having my fear was don't get reliant on that, but having that as a little confidence boost, even if you know it's there in the arse pocket, fucking takes all the pressure off. So
at the end of the day, if you're struggling, you know you can turn into James Dean.
You can. Yeah, that James Dean.
And in all fairness, I know I give you a little comment in jest, but in fairness too, I think going back to the point earlier where fair play to you for, obviously we've spoken about it, and fair play to telling everybody, because I mean that would be one you're a bit not sure if you wanted to go out. But I think even with that, though, I mean, you know, we had some good banter between us. It was one way, you know, to be fair, you probably drove the banter more than me, because, you know, it's not, alright, we'll have a laugh and joke about it, but I wouldn't find it particularly funny just to come out and give you grief for that, because I wouldn't want to be in that position. But nonetheless, we did have some fucking quality bit of, you know, and I fucking enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, at my expense. But no, like, it's something thankfully I'm over now, but it's just a period I've been through, and like I said, from speaking to, you'd be surprised some of the boys I've had chats with about it, and how it was kind of like a period that they worked through as well. And yeah, it's just amazing what that can do to you if you're not careful. But we'll round off the hair loss stuff if anyone's actually interested in that. There's all these different companies. So the company we use out here is called Pilot. There's others. There's Mosh in it.
Mosh, yeah.
I think our old next door neighbour's got your Mosh order, and he's probably still got the fucking 3 monthly package turning up to his.
You went from fucking Fred Elliott to Rod Stewart.
But no, the other compound is minoxidil, so that's supposed to trigger hair regrowth. I think, how long have you been on it now, boys? I think for me, I've been on it since November 23.
But it would have been the same time, because I'm sure we literally, as soon as I asked who you got it from, I would have put an order in. Well, I had a consultation a week or so late.
So after you, Jim?
I think it's a bit less than you boys. You sort of twisted my arm and suggested it. But I said to you, I'd give myself a little 2-year trial. If I don't see anything after 2 years, then I'll sack it off. But I'll see how it goes. And a little side note, we're not scientists, we're not doctors. Do your research before you start taking these various...
100%, yeah. We are not telling you to go taking anything, but just consider it.
Well, for all we know, it could be a placebo, because like I said, I've said about, obviously I've been on these tablets, but I also said I changed my haircut, so...
Yeah, and you got different salt spray.
You know, what...
It's not a fair test.
It's not, but it's something as a bloke where... I think it's comforting in it. There's maybe some comfort in if you're going through a stress. If somebody says, try this, it will work. Even if it is a placebo, I think it takes away that mental aspect.
No, but you can research, can't you? And like, this is backed. You know, this is something that gets results.
Is that our supplement market so few in general?
No, but because fucking Andrew Huberman said, like, it must be true. No, but like, you know, even if you have what I didn't realise as well, if you have a hair transplant, you're on minoxidil and finasteride for the rest of your life. Otherwise, it'll fuck off again. Like,
yeah.
So it works, and like for me, I've noticed a definite difference.
Well, that's just
And I think, you know, I'd go in the shower, going back a year or two, and I'd, you know, run my hands through my hair, and there'd be always a bit of hair shedding.
Well, I think me and you said it wasn't a case of necessarily expecting tablets or not, you know, or whatever to regrow the hair, but I think for me it would have been a case of I was comfortable accepting, providing it stops it there.
Yeah, if it doesn't get any worse than this, I'm happy.
I can live with this, like, you know, I'm sound with this, but Eddie, you know, at least I'm looking like Norris off Corrie. You're up shit street without the battle.
Right, I think we'll have to wrap up that as part one there, boys, because we're probably halfway through the notes. James got work in the morning, and he keeps reminding us off camera about 8,000 times. So yeah, we'll knock that one on the head then.
We don't need to rush it, do we? We want to take our time. We want to give it some respect, so we can do another part 2.
Yeah, if we can, even if it just resonates with a few people, I think we'd have felt as if we've done a little bit. So no need to rush. We've probably got some funny quips and some other stories to get through, which, judging by the list of notes,
Yeah, there's plenty left. Plenty to come, so stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed part 1. As usual, make sure you're giving us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Sunday Coffee Club on Insta, at Sunday Coffee Club _ on TikTok. Make sure you're getting involved in the Sunday strolls. It's growing now in the gym. We had a good little stroll last week.
Great numbers
Big one
last
coming
week.
up this coming weekend now.
Yeah, even bigger numbers planned for this Sunday, so appreciate everyone coming. Thank you.
yeah, fair play to you boys for pushing that as well. I'm not carrying the flag for that very well, but no.
One day you'll be there, won't it?
Yeah, in spirit, don't you?
Always in spirit, always.
But yeah, head over to the Instagram for all the details on how we always put the location and the time, etc. on there. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already on YouTube. Leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you subscribe on there too, because it helps us out. Bang us on your story, tell your mates, and don't be afraid to rip into us, because we can take you. Like we said, no one takes a piss out of us more than we do. So yeah, thank you very much for staying tuned for part 1. We'll see you next week.
As you were.
Ciao for now.
You nearly had me doing a peace sign then. I
Peace out,
literally, I
bitches.
felt my fucking hand twitch up, and I was like, nah.
You should have. Keep it in land.
Heilvard. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to see it on there anyway, it's too small.
There we go.
Down the elk, boys, down the elk. Is that how you do a wave? Good day. Good day, wave.